So, here we go.
It was filled with childish frustrations and complexes. The police were searching for James Thomas.
Hello. You're listening to Midnight Movie Gang. It's currently 7:21 p.m. Night Movie Gang. My name is Elsie Hines, and I'm here with my boy Jack.
Hello.
Here with my boy Cadgar.
God.
What are you doing?
Get out of here! What do you think you're doing?
Get out of here. For those of you who've seen the World of Warcraft, the 2017 World of Warcraft film. No, not 2017. That came out before our freshman year, didn't it?
I think it was our freshman year. I'm gonna say 2016. All right, we have the magic of the internet. Let's see.
We didn't see. Yeah, we didn't see. Wait, because we didn't see. No, I think it came out summer 2016. Because it definitely, I had the Blu-ray going into college.
That
Summer. Yep, 2016.
Yep, nailed it.
Yep, June 2016. Yeah, God, I saw that in theaters. I feel like that would have been a more fun time, but I guess not a good enough memory. Anyway, so folks at home, if this is your first episode, which this is episode 90, so
jeez,
hope it's not necessarily. My goal is we just got to 300 subscribers on YouTube. My goal is I want to get to 500 subs by episode 100, where I want to fucking zoom through it. So, folks at home, share with your friends. But anyway,
smash that subscribe button.
Smash that subscribe button, hit the Patreon, get stuck monetized.
Get stuck monetized.
But today, this is a show where we usually talk about horror, sci-fi, lesser known kind of films, cult classics, like the late night, like you're flipping through the sci-fi channel at fucking 1 a.m. and whatever it's on. That's the kind of vibe we go for. And today, both these movies certainly fall into that category. Much like Jack, our episodes, we try to fall into doing movies that have the same or similar titles. And one I wanted to talk about The Martian on the show for a while, but I figured that Mars Attacks would be a good one to pin with. I hadn't seen Mars Attacks since high school, and like I barely remembered it.
Yeah, it was the same for me. I mean, I hadn't seen The Martian since it came out. I think it was 2015. Yeah, 2015.
Yeah. And
then the same thing for Mars Attacks. It's been ages, really, probably since like college, early college, high school for me too.
I've rewatched The Martian a handful of times since it came out. The thing with The Martian, and the reason it's been on my mind, and I'm going to talk about it a good amount during the episode. The Martian's been on my mind because a big point that I think that The Martian is a perfect tone and like perfect vibe for what I think in my heart a Fantastic Four movie should be. Like ever since all this shit with like the first trailer for First Steps, I thought like it's too goofy. I want it to be more like, because like I think The Martian has such a perfect balance of like it's about science and it's about exploration, but there's also like Ridley Scott just does an amazing job at just giving like the Lovecraftian, because like in this movie it's not necessarily horror, but just acknowledging how fucking scary space is and how scary the things that we don't know is just like by their nature.
Yep.
And I think that is at the heart of a lot of my favorite Fantastic Four stories.
I mean, hell, the first 10 minutes, 15 minutes of this movie feel like Alien. Like the horror in space, like the action scene in the storm. Like you could definitely get that vibe, and obviously Ridley Scott being the driver.
The alien guy. Yeah. It's funny, I was looking through Ridley Scott's discography, just reading, and even though I feel like he's so known for his sci-fi stuff, really sci-fi is kind of like a fraction of his filmography.
He just does whatever he wants, dude. Right now he's in his dad history movie phase.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, his historical epics like Napoleon and wrong director. Gladiator 2.
Godfather 2. Ridley Scott's Godfather.
But
maybe I'd like Godfather then.
Yeah, but he just kind of makes whatever he wants. Honestly, he's just all over the place.
Yeah, but certainly like this is kind of going into it. I was gonna ask, which by the way, do you want to talk about Martian or Mars Attacks first? I have a preference, but I'm curious what yours is.
Well, we've got Ridley Scott up. Let's rip it.
I want to talk about The Martian first. I like talking about the dumb shit later. Not dumb. I like talking about the goofier stuff in the second half.
Yeah.
Speaking of, it's kind of leading into what I was going to say. I was going to ask you your history with, so not just what is your history with The Martian as far as like when it came out, leading up to it, how'd you feel about it? Like first reactions, maybe when you saw it, and then also just your kind of general vibe with Ridley Scott, which you're already kind of talking about, but if you want to give me some more details.
Yep, I do really like Ridley Scott a lot. He's obviously he's a titan in the industry. He's made all the all the big classics like Gladiator, Alien, Blade Runner, and I'm totally not cheating. You totally don't have the list of all the movies up on the screen right now.
Totally not up here.
But he also like
1492 Conquest of
Oh
Paradise.
yes, the classic.
Classic. His go-to when people say Ridley Scott, that's the first movie that comes up.
Yes, of course. But no, I mean I happened upon the Arrow video version of Legend. The Tom Cruise one with Tim Curry as Mr. Devilman, and I love, like, in terms of boutique Blu-ray. We talk about Criterion.
Arrow's awesome.
Arrow is awesome. Like the remastered,
Arrow.
restored director's cut of Legend is so much better than the theatrical. There's like a really good pace and structure to it. There's some of that quintessential Ridley Scott, fantastical, like you mentioned, Lovecraftian elements to it. He doesn't. I wouldn't really pin him down into one style, but he balances. There are little Ridley Scott isms, which I guess stem from his sci-fi start that trickle its way into his fantasy. I mean, we're going to be talking about sci-fi now, but even like hell, like Black Hawk Down has some horror elements to it, just in terms of the way that everything's framed and the battle scenes are structured.
Yeah, when I think about Ridley Scott, as far as like, he's not necessarily a filmmaker that, like, and you kind of said it, as far as like, he doesn't have a genre that he likes. He doesn't have necessarily a story type that he sticks to. But when I think of Ridley Scott, a lot of the things I think of are his visuals.
Yeah.
And certainly just his sense of what is it like? He does such a good job at giving us a sense of location.
Yeah.
Like when I think of all his movies, like I think Aliens. I can imagine walking around the Nostromo, and like I feel like I would have a sense of like where I could go, like down what hallway. And same thing in The Martian. Like,
we'll call it world building, but maybe not like a holistic world building, but more like a structural, like.
Yeah, and a lot of it is like how he shoots it. In that, like, I think and it's something I noticed, like Alien being the big thing. Sorry if I'm, but like his lighting is so naturalistic, and just the way that like he shows the characters interacting with the environments as well, and like in the environment feeling alive. Like when I think about The Martian, I think about like the fucking sails and flags like moving around outside, like dust storms in the background, and like there's always something moving.
Yeah.
Even if it's a still shot, really, I feel like Ridley Scott, there's always something always feels alive in the frame, quote unquote. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's very organic director. There was you meant a good one of just living in the frame and details in the frame. I mean, Blade Runner's my favorite of his, along with a lot of other people. But they're, again, like Kingdom of Heaven. I think that was a 2004, 2005. 2005. Got it. American Gangster. Yeah, just going down the list, a lot of them, like, you're absolutely right. All of his shots feel very lived in. Like, it's not just the scene, it's not just the scene that you're witnessing. It's not just the plot that you're witnessing. It's just the world that's around it too, which is impacted by the scene. Especially House of Gucci, the Oscar-worthy super film that
still haven't seen it.
I keep forgetting he made that movie. I haven't seen this movie, but the one scene that I thought it was a joke. It's the scene where Jared Leto's character, he like screams like the F word at the top of his lungs, and it's hard cut by a car horn, and it's absolutely hilarious. I think in an intentional way, but I don't know. Ridley Scott's just kind of an old man now.
Lady Gaga's in it. I don't know anything about House of Gucci, so I'm looking at I didn't know who was in it. Like, I'm just looking at pictures. It's crazy.
But yeah, man, I like me some Ridley Scott. So I was actually really happy to pick this, because I remember I didn't love it initially when it first came out. I definitely felt like it at the time. It's 2.5 hours long, and at the time I felt like it overstayed its welcome a little bit. But this time it actually worked better for me now, because I definitely, unless you want to stay talking about Ridley Scott, jumping into.
Oh no. Well, let's talk about the movie. I mean, all I was gonna say with like all I wanted to say about Ridley Scott as filmmakers, like, I have Alien on the brain right now a lot, because Alien Earth is coming out right now.
Oh, that's right.
But also what's it called? And like I've been what's it called? Like Alien Earth, Predator Badlands is coming out. So we just did an episode on Predator Killer. So like, and Alien is on the brain, and also like just thinking Alien is the movie I think about as like is my quintessential. You were talking about Blade Runner as your kind of quintessential Ridley Scott. I recently when we moved here, we got a nice big ass TV when we moved. Like which was a nice thing. We have more space. I wanted a nice big TV, and I've had the Alien 4K Blu-ray for a while, which in my opinion is the most gorgeous 4K. Like as far as like when I show people like what 4K can like really do, the rest of the 4K restoration on the first Alien is just immaculate. And it's the same one they showed when they re-released Alien in theaters before Alien Romulus.
Okay.
And just it's just the most beautiful movie, and like the way, like the opening shot just going through the ship, there's just so many little details. And I was talking about that Alive thing. I watched a director's commentary, and when you go through the cockpit area, there's a part where like there's some papers on somebody's console in the cockpit of the ship, and as the camera goes by, like the papers get like whooshed off of it by some wind. And Ridley Scott's like, yeah, no, people ask me like, where did that wind come from? I was like, there's no wind in space, and I'm just like, it doesn't matter. It looks good.
It's fine. Didn't he say something similar about Napoleon too, where somebody was like complaining about the historical inaccuracy, and he was just like, nah.
Yeah, no, he's the kind of filmmaker, who like, yeah, like doesn't give a shit about your cinema sins. Just like it's literally like that. Have you seen Get On Up? The James Brown movie?
I've not, no.
So it's not a spoiler, but there's a little scene where like where James Brown, like him and the band are like practicing through a song, and he tells the drummer to come in like half a beat like ahead of the band or whatever. And one of the other musicians like, Mr. Brown, that doesn't make sense. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, Mr. Brown, like he'll be in a different musical time though, so it doesn't work musically. And James Brown's like, does it feel good? Yes. Does it sound good? Yes. Well, if it feels good and it sounds good, then it's musical. And I feel like that's really Scott.
Yeah. The quote is, the quote I found is, in response to historical inaccuracies in Napoleon, director Ridley Scott said, "Excuse me, mate, were you there? No? Well, shut the fuck up then."
Exactly. Like he knows what works. Like he's the kind of filmmaker, like he knows that his instincts are going to make the most captivating. Like he's a captivator. Like I just think his movies always suck me into the world.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it just has to do like he just knows how to like, and for me it's purely visual. He just knows how to create an image that just makes me go, God, I can like fucking touch Matt Damon's spacesuit.
I can feel the sand and then the sand next to the sand.
I can fucking rub Sebastian Stan's beautiful face, or Michael Pena's mustache.
Kate Mara in her second space-themed movie of 2015.
Exactly that, and was Fantastic Four the other?
Fan Four Stick. Yep.
Fan Four Stick. Oh, there we go. Another Fantastic Four connect. Yeah, no, it's all good. I wanted to ask you, have you read the book that The Martian is the Martian, which is based off a 2011 novel of the same name?
I know it's Andy Weir, right? I've not read it, but I know of it. So I think my sister read it, and I think she said she really liked it. Either that one or one of the other Andy Weir books.
Yeah, my fiance actually read the book, and for the rewatch I did for this episode, they watched the movie with me. They hadn't seen the movie, but they read the book. They actually didn't like the book a whole lot.
Oh no.
But they enjoyed the movie more than the book, actually, which is interesting.
Interesting.
And the reason why they said, and like I've not read the book, we're not really gonna, like we're judging this more like on its like as a film in and of itself. Like something that's interesting is like apparently there is a lot less Earth in the book.
Really?
Like
I guess that tracks just because of just the structure of the story.
Yeah, like apparently the book is very much like it's from Mark's perspective, and it is like just it digs way more into the minutia of like exactly how he survives, like way more detail. Like him growing the Martian shit potatoes in the book apparently is like the first half of the book. Like all of the little things of like how he did it. So like and which is interesting to me because like when I think about this movie, I love the Earth parts just as much as the Mars parts for different reasons, but you might feel differently, but we'll get into that. And yeah, speaking of getting into that, do you want to start getting into the plot, kind of go through scenes?
Yeah, let's do it.
So yeah, 2035, but not this universe's 2035. Yeah, the crew of the Ares 3 mission to Mars. So yeah, it's a future where NASA actually gets money, and we're on, this is Ares 3, so presumably this is the third manned mission to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt Damon and a crew of other pretty people, astronauts, are doing science on Mars, and there's a big Martian sandstorm coming in. That's threatened them, and then they have to kind of decide like, should we like it's gonna destroy all of our shit? Maybe we should just bail. And Jessica Chastain, who's the leader of the crew, decides that they leave, and it's like a crazy scene. And how do you feel about the opening in general, like the establishment?
Well, we talk about the horror, like the more what we understand him for his sci-fi as, like it's kind of at least just the aesthetics of the storm after they all get told like, hey, yeah, let's get the fuck out of here. The aesthetics of that definitely mimic a lot more of his like the darker elements of something like an Alien. Like like my first thought when they're walking slowly through the storm, trying not to get hit, immediately reminded me of the last scene in one of the last scenes in Alien where Ripley's running down the corridor and it's like everything's blacked out and she sees her crew members that are like pasted to the wall or just dismembered bodies, like dark. Obviously not on that level in terms of like horror elements, but
this
still
movie being PG-13, a rare PG-13 for me.
A very rare PG-13, but still like a very striking color differences, like the lights, like the spotlight spinning around on top of the building. It's like a very profound brightness. The only other light in the scene is the lights coming from their helmets. He understands how to use like that starkness to the effectiveness of the tension of the scene, where you can only see. It really feels like you can only see what they see, and that just makes it all the more intense. I liked it a lot, especially on the second viewing.
Yeah, no, it's a really intense opening when they're going through. Mark gets fucking Captain America shield fucking blasted away from the rest of them, and it makes sense as far as like, you know, you feel guilt free for the crew as far as like, yeah, this is a situation where like you can very safely assume he's dead, you know, or at the very least, like, you know, if you try to like recover him, like even if there's a chance of saving him, like you are all gonna die if you don't leave right now. And
and I like the honesty of like the crew, or the way that especially our Matt Damon's character, like he's just very understanding and honest. It's not like this resentful hatred, like, oh, it's like a very much like, yeah, you thought I was dead, like that tracks.
Later when he finds out, and I mean, I think that it goes to the fact of like, how do I put it? Like when I think about astronauts, that, you know, they're writing astronauts, but like as far as like something that stuck with me, like I think I've told you about this before. When our college that we went to, there was a speaker, or not a speaker, there was a panel that came to talk at MPAC, at RPI. A panel of astronauts came, I forget exactly, and I think it was a talk on like a mission to Mars type thing, like they were coming to talk. And I was there at the talk, and one of the students asked, like kind of straight up, one of the questions was, what do you think it takes to be an astronaut? Like what's kind of the most core thing? And I forget who the astronaut was, but what he said stuck with me. He said, you have to be able to stay calm and stay relaxed in the most dangerous, most stressful, and most isolating environment possible. You know, you have to have like nerves of steel, in the sense of like you need to be able to function when you could die at any second. And you know, I feel like all these like, you know, that like all these characters are written in like such a way. And then Matt Damon, I feel like and we're going to talk about his performance throughout the movie, because obviously most of it's his show. As far as like, you know, there are moments where you see this character break, you know, and it kind of shows the humanity of like, yeah, even though these astronauts are they're screened to be like the most well-trained, like most level-headed, you know, all these things go into it, like they're still human. Yeah,
they're human people with emotions and are actually faced with real consequences of, you know, being dead in space.
Yeah. And I feel like with, especially with Matt Damon in this movie, but also like I feel like nowadays, especially with audiences, 2015 is his own thing, but like nowadays, I feel like people can have a tendency to like automatically like, well, I'm not gonna feel bad for Matt Damon or whatever, because like, well, he's like a super genius, and like, you know, obviously he's gonna be able to figure it out because he's a super genius, you know. But like, they do a good job to like make this character relatable, make you care about him. And like it's understandable why, like, you know, especially as we get into kind of the more political aspects of like some of the stuff on Earth, is like, yeah, it like this character is written to be the guy. This is the guy that the whole world would get behind. Yeah, you know, like everyone would care about, and I feel like
it's very easy to empathize with him.
Exactly, and just written well in that way. But yeah, no, this opening is it's a great thing. I want to say, I forget. So we get that opening, and then we don't go to Earth that soon, right? Like they leave, and then I rewatched the movie about a week ago at this point, or maybe a little longer. Yeah, a little longer than a week ago. But we don't go to Earth yet. I'm pretty sure like after that we cut back to Mars like the next day, and he's alive. But he has a fucking big spear through his stomach, and this is as far as like Ridley Scott body horror shit goes. Like this is as far as the PG-13, but it stretches the limit in this scene where like
watching him dissect himself.
Yeah.
And then literally staple up his open wound. It's probably about as far as you can go.
Yeah, it's as big as like the body kind of horror gets in this movie, and like Matt Damon selling the pain as well, and it's one of my favorite. Oh, great use of the PG-13 fuck.
Yeah,
is what they picked their moment well. Where like he's sitting there after he pulled the shrapnel out of it, he did the surgery and he stapled himself up. He's sitting there, he's sweating, and he's just like, fuck. And it's like, yeah, that's about how do you feel.
Wait, sorry, off topic. I'm just seeing this on the screen now. This movie made over $600 million.
Yeah, that makes sense. As far it was really well received. Critical response, yeah, 500,000. That's pretty damn good.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's great.
It wouldn't make that today.
No, it would not.
No fucking way. Yeah, we are far and away from like the as far as like what is it like
the mid-budget movie.
Yeah, the only thing that came out in the last few years that did that was like what, Sinners? And
Sinners.
I think Sinners made less than that actually. Hold on, how much?
I think Sinners beat the Fantastic Four. I think it's over. Let's see.
So what's the budget of Sinners versus?
This is now a review of Sinners, by the way.
Yeah, this is our second Sinners episode. We could do so many episodes of Sinners.
Speaking of which, I loved Sinners. I don't know about you.
Sinners is great. We do in fact have an episode on Sinners. So like if peeps want to hear my specific thoughts on Sinners, go check that out. But speaking of Sinners, a little bit more. I got the 4K Blu-ray of Sinners a few weeks ago,
nice.
And it's also an amazing 4K as far as like especially during the IMAX during the scene, which spoilers for Sinners, you like the spirit scene in the barn, like when the camera
amazing scene
on my TV. I'm just like, God damn, that looks good.
Your expensive ass big TV.
It's not expensive. It's just big. It's just big TVs are a dime a dozen. It's a regular. It's not a QLED.
Fair.
It's not a which I like as far as like what is I don't know the black light. It's big and the resolution's really good, and that's all I care about.
That works. My TV is currently a 75-inch TV, which I did not pay for, with accounts for all the streaming services that I also am currently borrowing. Friendly, I will return them to senders as much as possible. But
rock and roll. Yeah, I think the only we have Max, Prime, Netflix, and right now we're paying for Disney. I'm literally only paying for Disney Plus for Alien Earth right now.
Nice. Like, I'm paying for my cell phone bill and Wi-Fi.
Rock and roll.
And then that's all I got right now.
Rock and roll. 2025.
Yeah.
To be alive. But anyway, but with now I'm on the Sinners page. Now I am literally thinking about Sinners. Go check out Sinners, folks. But
Sinners is great.
Yeah, but what were we saying about The Martian? So Sinners made 365 million according to Wikipedia. So if Sinners had come out in 2015, it would have gotten close to $1 billion, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, just as far just as far as like, oh god, that's just making me thinking in general. This is a tangent I want to have here, as far as like, in your opinion, Jay. I want your opinion, and I know that there's probably one big reason, but what do you think are some reasons why motherfuckers ain't going to the movies right now?
Oh, because
I think there's a lot. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, the big one is obviously the streaming age. That's kind of whenever anybody jumps on the discussion, I've had this with a few people. Like the first thought that I always have is like, oh, people are going to be going to just wait. You can wait the extra 3 to 4 weeks and see the Marvel movie in your TV in the comfort of your own home with your own viewing experience, and just it's a blessing and a curse seeing how far we've come for home entertainment. But for me, it's just the contemporary theater experiences. Like most of the time I've had really good experiences, but there are just some times where just the prices are skyrocketing, and it's both needed in order to maintain rent costs of the theaters, but also at the same time, like when you go to the theaters, you feel like nobody else is engaged. The last like really good theater experience I had seeing a movie was what's the last movie I saw in theaters?
Sinners?
Actually, unfortunately, I watched that on streaming. I waited till streaming. I did pay for full price on Fandango though. I love me some Fandango. But I think it's just there will always be a market for it. Kind of like how there's always a market for physical media. In my opinion, there will always be a market for vinyl records. There will always be a market for boutique Blu-ray. But along the same lines, it's not necessarily like theaters are going extinct, but they are. They're I'd say an endangered species. Movie theaters are, but there will always be a market for it. It'll just be a little bit more niche, and hopefully that continues to draw people that appreciate the experience more.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just gonna be. I mean, it's exactly what you said. Like all. My biggest thing is like, yeah, motherfuckers are poor. The economy the economy is doing bad. As far as like is my big. It's I don't think it's the only reason. I do think that's the biggest. And talking about movie theaters in particular, it's like yeah, like you said, all that's gonna exist is like the big megaplexes for like the high luxury item experience of like the big AMCs, like all that stuff, and then the smaller indie theaters, like the one we used to go to, Spectrum 8, like those are still going to be around, I think, showing like the older films. And then back in Columbus, there was a theater we went to a good amount near our place called Studio 35. Yeah. Which was it was a bar theater, and it was
you mentioned Studio 35 to me before. That sounded great.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Like it was bar up front. They had 2 screens. They did special events and stuff. They had themed drinks based on the the movies. Like we saw Doctor Strange, like Doctor Strange Sangria or whatever.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, no, just that middle it should, and it's the same thing with like the movies themselves as well. It's like you had just said like the mid-budget film is disappearing, and it's like Sinners is just like kind of the only example I could think of as far as like something that exists in that middle. And really that's Ryan Coogler, who like coming off like Black Panther. It's like that's why he's able to do stuff like that. But and
you can think about it, be like he's like he's like the guy. Like you got to think about like because Black Panther is extremely well received, very commercially successful. You're like, okay, if anybody's gonna do like very critically acclaimed director, if anybody's gonna nail it, it's gonna be him.
Yeah. And I think honestly, a reason I don't see a lot of people talking about as far as like why people don't go to the movies anymore, and it's something like movies aren't fucking advertised anymore. Like like a lot of like at least Sinners is word of mouth made Sinners like what it is now, as far as like most people have either seen or heard about it. But like
that was the one that like one of the first movies in a while, besides maybe like Barbenheimer, where just everybody was like we got to go see this movie.
Yeah, but it wasn't a huge. It took a while. Like it the first weekend wasn't great, and like when I first saw it, I was the one who had to go spread it out with me, like, I just saw Sinners, it was fucking incredible, you got to go see it. And I think a lot of it's like a lot of people just didn't even know that it was out or even heard of it. And it's like, I think a part of it is like, what's it called? Like, it's harder to advertise film now in the sense where it's like, TikTok's the only way to get to people. Because I feel like we look at 2015, people were still watching TV in 2015, or at the very least, we're still like they're like TikTok or like. People weren't spending as much of their viewing hours like on their personal platforms. Like people were still watching. Like that's the height of Game of that's actually the height of Game of Thrones and like other luxury TV is that era too. Like Breaking Bad and like all that is in that era. And I think because of that, people were still like there were still a lot more avenues of people to like see movies coming out. I was also gonna say as well. We've been going to the drive. We have a really good drive-in movie theater near us.
Nice.
That we've been going, like we saw Weapons and that's fun because you get a little bit of the best of both worlds in that like you don't got to deal with bad movie etiquette, because like you're just in your car. My biggest downside to drive-in just in general, and this is because of every drive-in theater, and it might depend on your car. The sound experience is like very clearly it's like. This movie was not mixed for a car, like movies are not mixed for cars, so it's like to really get it sounding right, we got to fuck with the EQ and the thing. But anyway, but yeah, no. So as far as like it's interesting to see like this is a movie from 2015, and oh boy, I wish that 2014 through 2016, I'd say even like 2017, that's like the golden era of the 2010s. Like pre-Endgame, after Endgame, it all went down. Well,
after Endgame.
Oh, and of course, COVID. You put like I think all of these issues that theaters are experiencing now, COVID definitely accelerated what was going to like if COVID didn't happen, we would probably get to the state where theaters are now in like 5-ish years.
I agree. Yeah. Because nothing was going to stop streaming. Nothing was going to stop the further advancement of home entertainment.
Yeah. And COVID, just by the sake of like what it was, or like social distancing and theaters not being able to operate in the way that they could, like made it so that studios had to invest in streaming, as far as like putting way more money into it. So like, yeah, it's a thing. But anywho, back to the Martian. Yeah, so we spend this next sequence of Mark kind of dealing with his situation, in the hab. He's like counting the food that he has. It's a little bit of, it's kind of like a dark sequence where you see him kind of contemplating what he's going to do. And there's a great little moment where he just goes, he's sitting there looking at it like it's a storm, and he just goes, I'm not going to die here. And that's really the moment where I think that's where the movie starts for me. Yeah. As far as like, he's like, I'm not going to die here. He does his little video blog explaining like how he's going to grow his, like how much food he has, like what's he going to do? Like, I'm going to science the shit out of this. Mm-hmm. And we get and that's something I think is just like this movie has such it's a feel good movie. It really has such a positive message, and a lot of it comes from Matt Damon, like the likability and just the positivity that this guy is maintaining. You know?
He carries this movie. He definitely makes it work. It's funny because I actually watched I remember back when the Golden Globes were happening, or in the 2015, the 2015-2016 Golden Globes, and he got nominated for comedy. And I remember being like, "What comedy? No, comedy. This is a sad 2.5-hour movie about a guy in space all alone." But then you're like, "Oh wait, no, there's a genuine humor to it. There's not just a humor in the script of the character himself, but there's also a humor in the situation too." Because like you think about it, you're just like, "Oh, this is literally about a guy that plants potatoes in space."
Damn.
And he is a space pirate. The joke they make a couple times in the movie, and he's just
sorry, go ahead.
He's just kind of sending it in as goofy of a way as possible, and he's acknowledging throughout the course of the movie, like, yeah, this is ridiculous and it's never been done before, but whatever, we'll send it.
He looks like Johnny Depp by the end with his pirate face. But damn, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page. Look how many fucking Oscar nominations it got nominated for. So I didn't even remember that it got nominated for Best Picture, Matt Damon for Best Actor, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Production Design, for fucking everything.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
All of the technical awards.
Yeah.
And I don't think it won any, which is stupid.
I would love to give it sound. I feel like the sound, especially in the scene that we talked about with like the storm scene, the sound is great. The way they do the sound in the space scenes is also really effective. Let's see.
Sorry, I'm looking at the 88th Oscars, and like, you know what? It had some stiff competition. If you see,
yeah.
For folks at home, it was up against also nominated for shit that Mad Max Fury Road and The Revenant came out that year. So
it's a pretty loaded year.
Loaded year as far as like, yeah, that's some tough. That was a tough fight. But yeah, great looking movie, great everything. But yeah, so there's that section, and then we kind of get we switch to our first time we switch to being on Earth. Mm-hmm. And I believe the first thing we see on Earth is we get Jeff Daniels speaking to the press about, like Mark Watney, and like they think he's dead. Like right now, the thing is like NASA and like everybody thinks that he's dead, and Jeff Daniels is giving a speech to the press, and then we see him have a little bit of a meeting with Chiwetel Ejiofor, who's super cute in this movie. And I forget what his job is.
He's the specific project manager for Mars. So Jeff
Mars
Daniels
director.
is the big dog. He's a CE, whatever position you want to call, like the president, like
administrator is what Wikipedia says.
Yeah, but he's basically like just the sub tier, but strictly for like the Planet of Mars mission. Yep, NASA's directors of Planet of Mars missions, and that relationship works really well. I mean, being like, I don't know, like being in a professional setting for a bit and just seeing the way that tiers of leadership work, there's like a respect there, but there's like and I kind of like that about their characters, and also really all like the characters that are on Earth. Like I definitely prefer the Mars scenes more so than the scenes on Earth. We'll get to that a little bit later, but it definitely feels like a very realistic, I hate to say bureaucratic, but there's a structure to the way that NASA kind of works and operates. Mm-hmm. And I really like the way that there's a trust put by Jeff Daniels' character in Chiwetel's character, even though there's of course like the push and pull. He's more just like, yeah, Chiwetel, this is your shit, go do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like Jeff Daniels, a lot of people, I think that on the surface you can look at Jeff Daniels' character as not as a villain, but as like, I feel like you could see a lot of like what he does and the decisions he makes in this movie as like being really harsh, but I don't think that's it at all. Like he's playing the big game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And something I feel like I really appreciate about how his character is written, as far as like he's not just thinking about like later in the movie, like when it's like how they have to cut corners and where they have to cut corners. He's thinking about like, yeah, he has this much food. He's like doing all the math in his head, and he's also thinking about like what's the press gonna think. Like, hey, if we decide to do this, then like we're gonna lose. We are going to lose like resources from this. And we have to think about what China's gonna think. Like everybody's goal is to save Matt Damon, but he is like playing the political game on top of that.
Yeah.
Also, and I think it's really what. By the way, I just want to say, as it's getting darker, like I'm looking at your camera, you look like the fucking what's it called? Like from XCOM, the director from XCOM, because like you were just a shadow. Just like you look like a government, like a secret.
Look like it's like what's it called? The scene at the Avengers when he's talking to the council. Like at the end, is just the one of the guys in the suit, just in the
exactly one of the guys. The council, and like he's all in shadow. That's exactly what you look like. But anywho, we're on Earth for that bit. I think at that point you just meet Jeff Daniels. What's it called? And then we switch back to Mars for a good amount. And we get we make the shit potatoes, and this is like a lot of kind of what people. I feel like when this movie came out, and I was talking to people about the movie, like when people say like, "Oh, The Martian, how's that?" Like, "Oh yeah, Matt Damon grows potatoes and poop," and he uses the poop of his crew members, and there's like a funny bit where he's like opening up the poop to make the fertilizer, and he's like, "Jesus, your heads," he blows himself up accidentally. And it's some cool science, bit, it's like, and it's something where it's like, yeah, the core of the movie is like, that's another reason why I think this movie wouldn't necessarily be a tough sell, but I feel like, I don't know, Fox News or like science and like trusting human intelligence is like just such at the core of this movie.
Yeah. It's a big problem solving. It's basically just he's trying to solve a big problem, but he's solving little problems to get to there. The big problem, of course, being like, hey, I don't want to die on Mars and I want to go home.
Yeah. Like, I feel like this is the kind of movie where it's like, came out in how old was I in 2015? How old am I? Was it?
Don't ask that question. Don't ask that question.
2015. I was in my late teens. And, I guess as far as like, I was already at that time, I wanted to be a science man. I had already wanted to be a science man, but like, what I'm trying to say is I think that The Martian is the kind of movie where like, if I was younger, like if I was like 9 or 10, like in like around that like a young age where like my brain is developing and I had seen The Martian, it would have inspired me to be like, I'm gonna be a fucking scientist because look how cool this shit is. You just grew potatoes and poop. It's really cool. And sorry, hopefully you don't feel like I'm flying through this, but I want to talk about the next scene and how we get introduced to some of the more Earth characters, and how we discover that Mark Watney's alive. We get introduced to what's that actress's name?
Mackenzie Davis.
Mackenzie Davis, yeah. Who she's like she just works in, what is her?
She basically is like I wouldn't say a surveyor, but she's more just like general for like satellite planner. And mission control. Okay, sure, yeah.
And she notices that the solar panels have been cleaned.
Yeah, like solar panels cleaned, and then the buggy moves too.
Yeah, the buggy moves. She notices that like things have moved around like on the site, basically like evidence of like, oh shit, like either the Martians from Mars Attacks are there moving stuff around, or Mark Watney's alive.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Mark's alive, and then we get Chiwetel Ejiofor, and we also get introduced to what's his name? We get introduced to Sebastian Stan's character here too, who is
handsome Mr. Space Doctor Man,
Mitch Henderson, who's Hermes flight director. You know what's funny? When I was watching this with Courtney, Courtney pretty much only knows Sean Bean from Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. Mm-hmm. So like when he spoke, Court was like, that's his real voice. Just like this motherfucker from the medieval times just came. But yeah, he's great. He has kind of a smaller role in the movie, but he's great in the part that he is there. We see right now they try to cover up that Jeff Daniels is like, yeah, we can't let people know that he's alive right now. Like, we have to figure out what we're gonna do first. Playing the political game. Yeah, what's the next thing? On Earth, Ares crew. Oh yeah. Oh, and also the fact that a big thing here that Jeff Daniels makes, which is like a big conflict amongst the Earth characters, is like he decides not to tell the Hermes crew that Mark is alive, which might be perceived as a dick move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But let's see. Yeah. So when the next section where we're back on Mars, Mark is basically trying to figure out a plan of how to get out. And as far as like this is the major journey at the end of the movie too, is like he has to drive his rover to like the Ares 4, the next Mars mission that is planned. There's already a bunch of tech and a bunch of shit over there for when the next Mars mission is supposed to come, but it's like it's a big drive away. It's very far from the site that he's at, and he basically it's going to be like in the rover. It's going to be months of months of journey.
That's one thing. That's one thing this movie does really well. Is we talked about when we did a review of Monsters, Monsters. Yes. Monsters. Is talking about how films present scale. This movie does a scale of time really well. That was one of the things that bugged me on the first watch that I saw it. But on this second watch, it definitely feels like with the structure of the movie, like it shows for each of his little problem solvings he's solving at the start. It's like, they call it souls, soul 40, soul 44, soul 46.
Every time we transition back from Earth, it shows you how long it's been.
Exactly. Yeah, but then at the end, when he's making his big pilgrimage out to the site of the next Ares mission, it's 7 months later, and it's just like, well, that makes sense because he's at the point where he's at not necessarily a streamline, but his rations are divvied out. He's just like, well, there's not really that much more growth that we could show this character having. It's more just he's got to get there, and then at that point, it makes the necessary time jump that it needs to in order to keep the story flowing, and I think it worked really well. Yeah,
there's also a very big time jump when and we'll skip ahead a little bit because like as far as like a lot of this kind of section, it's a longish movie, but like a lot of this section is like back and forth, like Mark having like a bit of a new problem. He figures how to communicate back with Earth, and like they build kind of a communication system, and that's pretty cool. I like how the hexadecimals and it's like space nerd Beth Johansson, as far as like we are fucking nerds. But he learns how to get to Earth, and then there's a big time jump after a big bad thing happens, which also is I want to talk about this when Mark is feeling good, his potatoes are growing well, he's talking to NASA, like people like it's kind of like things are going really good in the plot. And I'm just looking at the clock like, but it's about the halfway point.
We are about an hour and 20 minutes into a 2.5 hour movie.
He's going into the hab. There's like a tear in the fucking wall or whatever. And there's the atmospheric decompression. Like a bit of an explosion happens. Mark gets knocked the fuck about. The hab gets depressurized. All the air comes out. And we get the great scene of the duct tape, bro. Whew. That's the most like tense. I'm holding my breath during this. So basically, so he gets knocked around and there's a hole in his helmet. And great sound design, not just with like the sound of the air coming out of it, but like you're muted.
I intentionally muted. I was just repositioning myself. Sorry.
Yeah. But I thought you were talking. But
nope, you're good. Sorry.
Yeah, so like he gets a hole in his mask and he's trying to duct tape it up, and while that's happening, the computer is like fucking oxygen 2%, 3%, like it's going down, and like as he's duct taping, you hear the sound of the air like going, and it's a really intense little moment, with the duct. I remember it from the trailer, thinking like, oh, that's gonna be fucking rough. But yeah, what do you think about? And so he goes in and sees that all of his shit potatoes or his shit plants are gone. Like he still has his potatoes. It's just like his whole greenhouse setup is like destroyed, and he doesn't really have the time or resources to rebuild it. Yeah. So his food supply is now a lot more limited than it is in. How do you feel about this turn and like this kind of moment in the film? This is pretty much the middle.
Yeah, it's an effective turn. You could definitely feel the frustration. It's obviously a very warranted frustration, but his character doesn't go. He stays true to his character, and he's able to like rationalize it and be like, okay, this sucks, this is shitty, but it's time to do X, Y, and Z to fix it. So I'm glad they didn't present it as like a doomsday, like it's the end like a true second half low point. End of the second act low point. It kind of feels like that, but at the same time, there's still more pair of problems that he knows he needs to overcome later on. Yeah. But it's more just kind of what you were talking about with the person with the Mars people that came to RPI. It was more just like, okay, you could die at any second. Get to it. Figure it out. Let's go.
Yep. Yeah, the next scene is the lowest point kind of comes a little bit later, where like after the setback happens on Earth, the Earth crew is kind of like, well, we have to like get the food to him faster than we're like, we have to build our shit, like, because basically right now NASA's plan, like NASA's kind of main plan in this part is like, we need to send more resources, we need to send them more food and water. Yeah. So like they're planning like a little supply drop thing, whatever, which obviously is going to take time because space, and they have to build the rocket to like get to them. And they're like, okay, we have to like get it faster, like what are we going to do? And they decide that they're going to skip
inspections.
Like, there's inspections and safety tests because like we don't have fucking time to do it, and it's a whole thing where like Jeff Daniels makes that decision and everyone's like, are you sure if that ever gets out? And Jeff Daniels, like I said, playing the big game as far as like a corner has to be cut or he's gonna die, and it's like, and someone's got to make that decision. It's a hard decision. I gotta fucking do it. And like I said, yeah, I think Jeff Daniels, his character, is really underrated in this movie, because he takes on the brunt of like those big decisions and things where it's like, I don't know if that's the right thing, but you know what you're doing.
Yep, and I do like the next interview scene, like when he steps in and he kind of takes the brunt of the blame for it. Like he more structures it along like, oh, collectively, like this decision was made. But like deep down, he's just like, yeah, this is my time to speak up. I fucked up. Sorry, taxpayers.
Yep, I did it. It was me. Another character I want to mention, as far as like he doesn't we don't get BD Wong, who's like, he's the head of JPL. He's so funny in this movie. Like when they tell him like, you have like fucking 2 months to build this thing that takes like months, he's like, well, I'm gonna need some new clothes. And he says like the overhead alone will be, And
I like how he also includes his team members in on his calls too, like his one engineer that's behind the TV just holding up the drive race board that says, "Fuck no, dude."
Yeah. Did you on? This isn't even the podcast is neat. Like, you remember Carson, right, from college? Yeah, He works at JPL, and when I rewatch this movie, I'm be like, he'd be one of these guys. help him save Matt Damon. Yep. If I can, when I want to do a trip to Texas at some point, and definitely gonna try to hit him up for a tour, not to see him, just for a tour. But anywho, this section happens, and then this is where the biggest downturn comes, as far as like, they try to launch the rocket and it fails because there was something wrong with. They since they skipped the inspections, like there was something wrong, so like they got unlucky. And I think they talked about what the chance was. I think it was like a 1 out of 10 chance that something was wrong or whatever. Like how they had said how often, and it seemed like it wasn't. I forget what the exact percentage was, but it was like it was enough of a chance that something could go wrong where it's like they probably should have done the inspection, but they didn't have time. Yeah. And it just went wrong. And this is when Mark thinks he's gonna die, and we kind of get the lowest point of him, where it's like we see him leaving messages for because that's another thing, he gets in contact with the Hermes crew, which, by the way, that's as far as like the plots: A plot Mark, B plot Earth, and then little bit of a C plot that kind of like gets a bigger expansion later is the crew on the Hermes, which, if I were to say as far as like what I think is the weakest part of this movie, or like where I'm the least invested, it's kind of with the rest of the Hermes crew. And I don't even necessarily know what it is, as far as like something. It might be a chemistry thing. It might be like an environment thing. But it's like I don't know. Maybe it's me not liking Jessica Chastain as an actress, but like I don't know. The performances of like most of the people in the Hermes crew to me feel a little bit more wooden than a lot of the other ones. Like I don't even know what it is.
They're just really not given a real lot to do. They're not really solving any problems in the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
They're more just making. They're kind of vessels of decisions made by other people, which work. But I mean, granted, they're not really in a position to make a ton of decisions besides obviously the mutiny, which we'll get to in a little bit. Not really the mutiny, but the choice to go against. But more, they're not actively. Because A, they don't really have any knowledge of it, but B, like they're not actively working to solve or save Mark's life.
Yeah.
Which is fun. I mean, and then of course when the mutiny comes, that's when it starts getting a little bit more interesting. That's when you start seeing more interest, like more emotion for the character. But like for the first 2 or 3 scenes after, like in between that, like sandwiched between that decision, and then it's like,
I think it's also a thing too where it's like like you kind of put that on the head as far as like they don't get to do a whole lot for most of the movie up until the end, and then at the end, actually, I feel like at the end we get to see them do a little bit of problem solving when it's like, hey Vogel, can you build a bomb?
I did like that scene a lot. That was fun.
Yeah, no, that was fun. But yeah, no. So we're in this moment, and then we get introduced to my mom's favorite character in this movie, Childish Gambino. Donald Glover as Rich Purnell, JPL astronemesis, and when we meet him, he's such a fun. I love me an autistic scientist character. Like his office is a mess, and like he's asleep on the couch in his office, and there's coffee cups and trash everywhere, and he's all like, "Yep, no, the calculations of like."
Working on Awaken My Love in the background. Yeah,
no, definitely RPI student, Rich Purnell. And he comes up with the super plan to save Mark, which leads up to that mutiny as far as like using the Hermes ship. Hermes is land. Hermes goes back around, which as far as like it's a good plan as far as like and the biggest downside they're trying to avoid is like that's going to give the Hermes crew like so much more time and space. Which everything that's said in that scene as far as like Sean Bean says like and they do it in a heartbeat, which like they're gonna save his life. Like even if they weren't basically family, as far as like it's the crew, they're going on this mission together, like they're basically family. Even if I feel like they would do it if it was to save someone they didn't know.
Yeah.
Like if it was a different, as far as like of course, like it's nothing as far as like more time and space, more time away from our family, but like what are we gonna fucking not save this guy?
Which is fair. I do have a problem with how quickly like it jumps directly to that decision, and I get that that's kind of in the character, like Michael Peña's character, but he's just like, I'm doing it in a heartbeat. It's like I love it, but I wish there was a little bit more.
That's true.
But then again, but then
especially because they establish all like a lot of them have kids and family and stuff, and like how that would be more of a discussion. But in my opinion, the movie's already kind of long enough. Sorry, continue.
No, that was really I wish there was a little bit more of an internal conflict there. But then again, like if you're gonna cut out a section of the movie out of the three settings, Earth, Mars, and the spaceship, it would be the spaceship generally. But I wish there was a little bit more emotional meat to chew on. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like you don't necessarily need to cut it out. I think that, how do I put it? I think if they were just kind of more creative in letting us get to know the Hermes crew a little bit more, as far as like I don't know, like when the first time we're on the ship, the Hermes, while they're in space, we're kind of seeing like it's Jessica Chastain is just like at her office like doing stuff, and then we see like Vogel on like a space treadmill or whatever. Like we don't really see the characters doing anything that show their personalities necessarily. Yeah. Like if it were me, I would just like be a lot more efficient with the storytelling. It's like I want to get to know these people faster,
or just make it a mini series.
Or actually, you know what? Hold up, I'm having a fucking brain blast right now. They did, and Ridley Scott did this with Prometheus. He did this with Alien Covenant. They released The Martian. Oh, what was it called? NASA interviews. Let me see if I can find. They released these like promotional clips. Here it is. The Martian. Yep, astronaut interviews. They released these like Ares mission log. Like it was like an RNG. These were only released like online.
Oh, like, okay.
Yes. Yeah. Do you remember these? I'm showing you people at home. I'm sharing my screen and showing Jack but basically it's like these little like clips that take place before the movie of the crew getting interviewed, like being assessed before going into space. Yeah. And I remember watching these and like this is where you kind of get the personality of these people.
It reminds me of there's the one for Prometheus that everybody knows about because they're pretty much the same thing. They do interview Michael Fassbender's character, but there's also the scene with Guy Pearce's character from Prometheus where he's like giving that TED talk.
Yes.
And he's talking about the origins of Prometheus and the biotech projects.
Oh my god, I'm showing. Yes, exactly. And look, Prometheus did the exact same crew profile things. Mm-hmm. The best one was Idris Elba's because he starts smoking. They're like, blood type. He's like, I don't know.
God, we were robbed of Idris Elba, James Bond in the mid 2010s. Oh.
Yeah, can we just do? We might just do it. Look, he's so handsome. I'm watching Idris Elba smoke this cigarette.
Just rip it.
The audio in the clip, by the way, you can't hear it. They're like, "Sir, you can't smoke in here," and he just doesn't get it. He's smoking in his space. He's so fucking cool, bro.
He's just ripping a dart. I love it.
So what a man. But anyway, Ridley Scott does this a lot. Like he has a lot of like outside. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I remember thinking a lot of that as like it's cool for me as like a fucking movie nerd who's gonna go out and seek the clips. Like yeah, like having these in my head is cool, but I think it does a disservice to like most people aren't gonna fucking follow online and like look at these things. You know, it's like I think it's for that's definitely Ridley Scott being an obsessive. It's like I think his movies are very well paced. Even like his longer ones, I think he's very good at like keeping things clipping along. But I think it can be at the sacrifice of character. Like maybe it would be a bit worth it to have the movie feel a little bit slow, maybe like drag a bit more if we get to learn a bit more about it. Maybe that might make a holistic. But you know what? I'm not Ridley Scott. I can't say for sure.
Yeah, I'm cool not making 5 straight historical dad movies. I don't have to be Ridley Scott.
Yeah. But going on CSO, Childish Gambino has this plan. The crew decides to do it. The mutiny happens, and then there's a big time. So this whole section, kind of like after the middle of the movie, like we're on Earth and we're with the crew. We don't see Mark for a while, and when we go, when we switch back to Mars, it's Sol like 400 something. It's been a long time, and I love and basically so we see Mark and now he's we see him the first shot we see his body out of the shower and like we it's not Matt Damon, it's a body double. But we see him and he's like all scrawny and like his skin looks really bad and like, you know, it's like he's in there's like a little bit of a cool musical cue like they put I think it's some what's the musical instrument the where like you don't touch it where it's like there's a little bit of that creepy alien noise in there, like as he's walking by.
Yeah.
And I remember when I saw it with my mom, she's like, "He's turning into the Martian."
He's turning into the Mars Attack alien. That's why his head's so big.
Exactly. If he had stayed on Mars long enough, he would have been like, "Ack, ack." They pick him up. But yeah, anywho, so we see Mark getting ready for his big journey. And then we get this like leading up towards the end of like his road trip, and he's kind of going more and more crazy. And this is like where Matt Damon I think is like really starting to shine in the movie as far as like he's kind of losing it a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And we get what I think is the funniest scene in the movie, which is when they're explaining to Chiwetel Ejiofor like how they have to get the Ares 4 lander, like they have to remove stuff because it's too heavy.
Yeah.
And like he's like, you're throwing out the cockpit, you're throwing out the controls, like. And BD Wong's like, we haven't even gotten to the bad stuff.
No, we gotta take off the roof,
the windows.
It's like filing for bankruptcy. You're just like, we gotta take the trash can, we gotta take your license plate that you still have on your wall for some reason.
Yeah. Ugh. And then we see like Mark's like little text response, like, "What the? Are you serious?" But and then we get a fun little montage of Matt Damon tearing apart this lander and just throwing shit. There's a funny bit I was like, it's how desensitized he is. He pushes a button to like shoot the windows out, and they blast out with so much, and he doesn't even flinch.
He's just like, get it out. It's fine.
Go, zoom. And then we get the like we had talked about earlier, like we get the whole shebang, the whole saving thing. The Hermes crew gets there, and it's like, it's a nice little. This is the moment where we get to see the Hermes crew, like, we get to be like, oh, they're all Mark Watneys, you know, like they're all like badass, like really intelligent astronauts that like know what they're doing, like we see them like they're trying to calculate, you know, it's whole thing. Basically, Mark's flying up, they're flying by, and they have to try to catch him at the same time. Yeah, they have to all not be going too fast, and like they're just kind of problem solving that. And then there's a scene where it's like Mark's. I love the little bit where Mark from Matt Damon when he hears them speaking over the radio because throughout the whole movie, all of his communication with Earth and the Hermes crew has been through AOL instant messaging. Yep. You know, like. He hasn't heard another human voice at this point in like almost 2 years.
In reality, it would be like if it was 2035 now, it'd be like a Teams messaging board with like emoji reactions. Like,
exactly. Just like Mark, download Slack. Mars.
Follow us at our Midnight Movie Gang Discord.
Yeah, I do. We do have a Midnight Movie Discord. I didn't I don't know what to do with it. I kind of made it, and I was like, well, now what? But with more I want to make a patron Discord when we get more, but that's down the line plans. Anyway, but fucking what's it called? So yeah, so Matt Damon like is crying and like freaking out and then we also it's also intercut with like people on Earth watching, and it's kind of like it's a nice feeling as far as like this is a global event. You see like Times Square, Tokyo, like all these like big like cities where people are watching the mission kind of go through, and when everyone on Earth hears Mark Watney's voice for the first time, they're like, yeah, you know, it's like, you know, I feel like as an audience, even seeing this movie the first time, I'm like, I know that they're gonna save him, but it's still stressful.
Yeah.
You know, like there's a lot of tension. But yeah, they build a bomb because they have to slow down the ship, and it's fun, and yeah, we get to see the crew kind of be creative like Mark, and like yeah, it is a thing where it's like we're learning more, we're feeling out the personalities of these characters more. I wish that we had more of that, but I guess you got to go on YouTube.
Yeah, you got to look it up. You got to download it on your phone. And
yeah, for a Ridley Scott movie, you got to like it comes with homework. You got to do, but yeah, they save Matt Damon. Jessica Chastain goes out on a little space jetpack thing, and grabs his ass. And yeah, no, they save him. Everyone's happy, and then I like when they take the suit off. It's like I like that we got a little bit of a moment of the crew, like physically, like everyone getting to see him and like seeing them reunite. And they're like, "Man, you smell like you need a shower there, bud." And he's like, "I haven't showered in a year."
In a year. Stop laughing.
Stop laughing, God. He needs a dentist. But yeah, no, yeah. And then the way that this movie ends, we get a nice little epilogue. Like I like how do you feel? Do you think it should have ended there with them getting him, or like how do you feel about this little epilogue?
I think it's nice. It's just a sweet little, hey, all these characters like they do end up going back to their families. I mean, just trying to like getting a good just little positive tone after 2.5 hours of suffer porn is pretty. Yeah, it's nice. I don't know. I like how the two prettiest people, of course, get together and have a baby.
Oh yes, yeah. Sebastian, Winter Soldier, and Invisible Woman. Yeah. I think. Is everyone on this crew been in a Marvel movie? I think everyone except Vogel, maybe. We got Michael Pena from Ant-Man.
Jessica Chastain, is she in one of the Marvel movies?
If you count X-Men, Dark Phoenix or whatever.
She's in Dark. Who is she in Dark Phoenix?
She's the evil alien in Dark. Because I'm talking about not Last Stand, like the last X-Men Dark with.
I didn't see that. Okay.
With Sophie Turner. Oh, it was a piece of shit.
Got it.
You don't need to, but yeah, Jessica Chastain's the villain in that. She's like there's like it's evil aliens in that movie, and she's like the lead evil alien. Which sounds like it could be cool, but it's not.
Yeah.
But anywho, yeah, no, we get this last bit with like Mark as a professor or whatever teaching, and I liked a little bit of thing where he talks about like, yeah, did I think I was gonna die? Of course I did, but you just gotta solve one problem at a time, and it's like, yeah, it's just I don't know, like, it's such a positive message about like how. Science and human ingenuity, and like if we really got our shit together, like what we can accomplish. And like I had a fun time watching this movie, but like not to wax political for a second, it's like in 2015 this future seems so more goddamn possible.
Yeah, I'm like, gone are the days where Star Trek was in science fiction is now just fantasy.
Yeah, I was like actually talking to I got really drunk at Joseph's wedding, and I was talking to him about Star Trek and how like like the Star Trek future where like we've gone past capitalism and we only exist to like improve ourselves because like we acknowledge that our we do not have limits like for technology, so we should just improve ourselves. It's like it'd be nice if I used to think that we could get to that point.
Nope.
But yes, looking at stories like this and looking at stuff, I think it's still nice to watch content like this and be like, oh, that seems nice.
Yeah, I just want to smile again, dude.
Yeah, and this movie is definitely very worth watching in that regard. It's like, yeah, as far as like, people at home, if you haven't seen it, which you just heard us spoil the whole fucking thing, but it's still worth a watch. What streaming services is it on? Let's see. Where can you peeps watch it? It's on HBO Max, so go fucking get HBO Max. As far as like, all the streaming services are shit, but HBO Max, I think, like, is if you're gonna have one, Max is not a terrible one to just have for that one. What prop do you want from The Martian?
What prop do I want?
There's a lot of good choices. I feel like
I'm kind of hungry, so I'll probably take a potato.
One of his shit potatoes.
One of his shit potatoes.
He did make it dipped in Vicodin,
dipped in Vicodin. That's a great idea too. Oh
like
God.
He does in the movie.
Yeah. What's yours?
Let's see. I kind of like, just for the sake of the easiest option can be like I want his spacesuit or the rover or something. But I think if I'm gonna take one thing, I think what could be cool is the the poster that Chiwetel Ejiofor like draws like the little like
the little circle there, does like the pacing.
He goes to the cafeteria and like when he like draws, I was like, yep, I know where he's going, and I want it like marked up like he did in the movie because like so it's like a prop from the movie.
I like that.
And have that on my wall. It's like, why do you draw on that? I'm like, actually, it's from The Martian. Yeah, that's my pick. Or honestly, I love the look of the space suit. If I was gonna, I don't want the whole suit because I think that'd be a lot. But if I could just have the helmet.
Yeah.
Like on my fucking shelf. I think the helmet would be cool.
That's good.
If I'm gonna go for like a more generic answer.
Sweet.
But
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed the movie. Definitely feels its length at times, but I on a rewatch, I definitely think that the positives outweigh the flaws, and I had a good time with it.
Hey, 100%. Please definitely check it out.
Yep.
And check out more Ridley Scott. And I'm looking at his filmography. I'm like, damn, I need to watch more of his. I got gifted I still have not seen Thelma and Louise, but I got gifted the Criterion Blu-ray for Thelma and Louise.
Nice.
And I haven't watched it yet. Now I might go watch it.
I'll watch it.
But yeah, so now let's talk about speaking of Mars. Okay, so let's talk about Mars Attacks. I also think we're gonna go through it a little bit quicker because there might be less to talk about as far as like it being a. But anyway, so yeah, Mars Attacks is a 1996 American science fiction black comedy film directed by Tim Burton. And what I did not know until this rewatch, because like as I was watching it, like I was kind of looking some stuff up about it. 'Cause I had not seen this movie since high school. I remembered very little about it. I didn't know that it was based on anything. It's based off of a Topps trading card series of the same name. Did you know about the trading card series?
I watched the Red Letter Media review, or I guess they call it the revisit of this movie, and that's where I was introduced to the Topps trading cards. Some of those cards are brutal.
Oh yeah, no, they're like the art in the cards is fucking crazy. Like I would vibe with like one of the shirts. And definitely the art of the cards. While the cards still have this like over the top. Oh my god, burning the dog. The cards have this like have a lot of the over the top nature and kind of like there is some black comedy happening in the cards. They're definitely more violent and kind of more. I don't know. They're less for laughs than the movie, I think. But we'll kind of get into that. Jack, what's your history with Mars Attacks? Do you remember when you first saw it? Talk to me about it. I
barely remember when I first saw it. I just know I've seen it. I wish I had more to say about my first time seeing this because I do like me some Tim Burton. Classic. This definitely feels like the turning of the leaf of the classic Tim Burton kind of. I'd hate to say era, because this was after Edward Scissorhands. This was after Nightmare Before Christmas, I believe. Well, actually, he didn't direct Nightmare Before Christmas. Scratch that. But this was after Edward Scissorhands, after Beetlejuice. After this, he kind of started, like the Tim Burtonisms are still gonna be in his movies, but he definitely, this kind of felt like the hard-ish stop of like, okay, Tim Burton era 1 is done. Now I'm gonna go a little bit more commercialized. But ultimately, I consider this more of like a fresh viewing of Mars Attacks, because just looking at oh my god, the next one was Planet of the Apes after this one? Oh no, Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow, then Planet of the Apes, not too far off.
Oh my god.
I always forget that he directed the 2001 Planet of the Apes.
I think everybody involved in that movie wanted to forget that he directed that as well.
That's going to be... I've been trying to think... Me and Joseph are going to do a new commentary soon for the show since we haven't done one in a while. 2001 Planet of the Apes might be a good one.
I don't think I'm emotionally prepared for that. Great costumes, but...
but everything else.
Everything else, But yeah, speaking of great costumes, this movie like kinda has that, but we'll talk about that later. But that's I don't really have that much history with it, but I was expecting a fun romp, and what I got was a skeleton of a fun romp.
Yeah, it has its ups and downs. There are things there. So as far as like my history with it, yeah, I remember seeing it in high school and not necessarily. Yeah, actually, I think my first introduction to this movie might have been when I was a kid. I think I saw it on cable, and like I just have a distinct memory of the scene where like the president or Jack Nicholson's making an announcement, and the aliens hijack the signal, and you see the alien leader. And I remember as a little kid, like part of me, it was freaky image, but honestly, like the design of the aliens, like, and I still feel this way. It is a weird kind of line. They're kind of scary, and then they're also like really goofy and stupid looking.
I think it's also the mid-90s CGI for me.
Yeah.
I guess now as an older viewer, that gives it even more of an uncanny valley effect.
Yeah. But honestly, as far as visually, the scariest the aliens were to me in this movie, and I will say it's seen, is the what is it? The assassination, the woman, the alien woman disguise thing.
Oh yeah.
As far as just because, yeah, uncanny valley, unsettling. Like, despite, I think a lot of it's played up for laughs because of Martin Short, who is one of my, as far as like comedic actors in this movie, who I really think is fucking on it in this for me, is Martin Short. But yeah, like basically this woman is the aliens have disguised one of their own as this woman to go to try to kill the president in the White House, and she's like Martin Short is trying to seduce her, even though she's very clearly a fucking alien.
Yeah, they don't hide it. There's zero self-awareness from Martin Short. They're just like, all right.
And that's the joke, but like this physical performance from this woman is actually pretty damn good, as far as like she does look like an alien wearing a human skin.
I believe that's Vampira. I'm trying to remember the actors.
The actress name is Lisa Marie, not Presley. And she's worked on a lot of similar roles with Tim Burton. Vampira and Ed Wood.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, no, she in this like little physical role, she's like really good at being creepy. She doesn't say a thing. She has these like giant unblinking eyes. The way she kind of like moves and walks, she's like floating around. There's like one part where like when Martin Short is looking away, and she kind of like does this like little quick creature crawl thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's as scary as the aliens necessarily get in this movie. But yeah, basically, as far as like what Mars Attacks is about, is that this movie is pretty much a parody of like 50s like cheesy sci-fi conventions. I'm glad that I seen I saw the original War of the Worlds. One of my favorite Criterion Blu-rays I have is the original War of the Worlds, because like, yeah, it is like just a parody of like the alien invasion cheesy sci-fi thing. But I feel like this movie needed more of like a hard edge to the writing. Like the whole time I'm watching this, I'm like, I wish someone like Mel Brooks directed this, because I feel like it's going for a Mel Brooksy kind of like Spaceballs-y kind of like energy with like some edge to it.
That's really well put, because the thing that I was wondering is there's points and times where it like teeters on like a Doctor Strangelove-esque satire. But it doesn't really hard commit in any direction. So you see these scenes that just kind of bounce in between tones, and I'm just like, you could say you can have both, but just give me schlock. Like, you already told me you're more devoted to being the schlocky, like humor heavy stuff. Just run with that.
Yeah, it doesn't go as over the top as I think it needs to.
I agree. Yep.
Like, there are certain characters in particular that like are almost kind of playing it straight. Like, I feel like outside of the whole like head being removed, it's like Pierce Brosnan's character is the scientist. Like Pierce doesn't really have a whole lot to do in this movie.
Sarah Jessica Parker barely has anything to do in this movie, even though she's like one of the forefront characters.
Their little like side plot romance thing where she's a head on a dog and he's a head, like, it's not funny to me. It's one of the more visually unsettling moments. There's some interesting, as far as you can call, I don't know if I want to call it body horror, but like some like gross out visuals that are stuck in my head is like, oh, that's just weird and nasty.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, her head on the dog and like the dog's head on the woman's body. Like, as far as like, this is just making me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then so as far as like the plot of the movie goes down, it's an alien invasion. Jack Nicholson is the president of the United States. He plays two roles in this movie. He's the president, and then he is the what is it? He's
like a real estate mogul in Vegas,
casino owner in Vegas. Yeah, because there's kind of like a la Independence Day, which came out the same year as this movie, which is kind of crazy to me as far as like, wow, Independence Day. I never thought about the fact that Independence Day is a reiteration of like earlier disaster movies, and that like the tropes that Independence Day kind of like celebrate and take super seriously, this movie is making fun of. But it's like,
yeah, you could almost say that this is like, if you didn't have that context, you could be like, oh, this is a direct parody of Independence Day, or something along those lines. But just the fact they're made at literally the exact same time.
Yeah. Like the similarity is just due to the fact that like they're both homaging the same source material.
Yeah, exactly.
Really is why is like so like we're split amongst like a lot of different character lines or different character groups, different squads that are experiencing this alien invasion, and there's a contingent of characters in Vegas. Yeah, so like Jack Nicholson, the Galaxy owner, and then Jim Brown plays a former boxer who's like I don't know, he works at I don't know. Well, I don't
Is
know
he divorced to Pam Grier's character, or are they just like separated?
He's divorced, but like they want to get back together, and that's the thing is like they kind of have like more of a straight up little like family story type situation, and it's not it's not a comedic performance. Jim Brown's character, like it's and like he's worried about his kids. Oh yeah, and they have the two sons.
Yeah.
Who they have the two sons. They skip school, and that really doesn't go anywhere. That plot line. Now that I think about it,
I don't think any of the plot lines in this movie go anywhere, dude. I don't.
Yeah, no, it all gets pretty on. Like as soon as the aliens are killed, the movie kind of ends too. As far as like, I will say it's the escalation is kind of funny as well because basically like the aliens are surrounding Earth. They receive a transmission from the aliens. They translate it. It says that we come in peace. But like if you see in the movie, like, they meet with the alien leader. They translate basically like, yep, we come in peace and we come to understanding or whatever. And then the aliens just go crazy and start shooting everybody.
Yeah.
And as far as like the motivation of the aliens too is a thing that's like is lukewarm to me. As far as like the aliens, they don't speak English. You get some translation things, but it's like they're just kind of cartoonishly little sadistic fuckers, and their motivation is they're just enjoying fucking us. Like, and you see that in their reactions, because like when you're on the ship with the aliens by themselves, like you see like there's little reaction shots where like there's a part where like they blow up a historical monument and they're like taking photos of each other, and like they're
bouncing the Washington Monument back and forth in between the.
Yeah, in between the Go ahead.
And then what else? The big giant robot that takes two trailers and just smashes them together for literally no reason.
Yeah, like the aliens, like as far as their motivations, like the game, it's like kill all humans or destroy all humans or whatever. It's a video game where like you literally just play. It's all you do is like you're evil aliens destroying Earth, and like that's the game. It's like a goofy over the top, and these aliens are pretty much just that. They don't really have any higher motivation than that, and it's kind of funny because it's like, you know what, the aliens from Independence Day are the same thing as far as like you look at that movie now. The more and more I'm talking about Wars of Text, the more I'm just like, man, Independence Day is just a better version. It's like that's why, because in the scene in Independence Day that always really got me as a kid, and it's scary for a lot of reasons, but like the scene where they have the alien when it wakes up and it's like in the lab.
Yep.
And it kills Data or whatever, and it's talking through Data, and President Lone Star asks the alien like, what is it you want us to do, and the alien's just like, die. And as a kid and as an adult, I think about that, and it's like that's so beautifully like Lovecraftian in a way. As far as like the thing that's scary about that is like the aliens in Independence Day, or like any alien civilization, if they come down, they're so much more advanced than us. Like they think of us like insects, right?
Yeah.
Like we're just vermin that are in their fucking way, and the fear of that is like something, this existential thing that like I think is extra creepy about the aliens in Independence Day, and like we in here it's just kind of like it's all of that's played for laughs. Like, isn't it funny that they're just evil fuckers? I'm like, it wouldn't be funny.
It wouldn't be. I don't like it. But also, I just wish that I cared enough about these characters to really feel.
That's really what it is, because like, you can have it like that. It's just that like the execution of it just isn't interesting or fun. Yeah. And breaking down as far as like character who's here that I think gets it. I think Martin Short gets it. I think Danny DeVito is critically underutilized. Yeah,
Jack Nicholson's just kind of bad in this movie.
Yeah, both characters. Like, I don't know what he's going for with either one. Like, Art Land is like supposed to be this like over the top grimy business owner, but like we never really see him do anything that grimy.
Yeah, he's just kind of there. He just wears a funny costume for 2-3 scenes, and that's really it. Like, he's basically just selling soul, or not. He's basically just trying to build up another casino. And,
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm listening.
that's okay.
I was just thinking about other characters I like. I think Jack Black needed to be in this fucking movie more.
Yeah, and I get the point. I get what they were trying to do with that character. And I guess that scene makes it like it's a parody of the whole call to action, call to arms kind of character. But at the end of the day, it's just that whole like Kansas family, or no, the Midwest family. Are they Midwest? I feel bad.
Let's see. Does it say? I think they're in Kansas. Meeting in Nevada. Dale watches. General Case News report. Billy Graham Norris. I don't know if it says they're somewhere. They're in East Bumfuck America. Like they live in a trailer home type deal.
Yeah.
Like it's the desert.
Yeah. Either way, I digress. It's that whole family, like that service, like ultimately, yeah, sure, they figure out how to kill the aliens, but they just kind of figure it out at the end, like, oh, grandma's music sucks. All right, word.
Yeah. There's a fan theory online about why specifically that song. Apparently the fan theory is like, and it's why when the alien sees the bird, they shoot at it right away. Apparently the theory is that like the Martians are particularly sensitive to high pitched, like high pitched sustained noises. So like birds chirping and stuff would like have a similar effect, and like that song has that yahoo, kind of thing, and that pitch is what kills them. But like it's not explained in the movie. It doesn't really matter. It really is just a goof, like, oh, this like silly song like fucking blows up the aliens' heads, ha ha ha. And that's why they shot the bird, because like it was a threat in that sense. But I said Jack Black just because like I don't know, I liked how stupid Jack Black is in this movie. Like as far as like everybody, I think if they wanted to go as over the top and like had everybody be like just dumb like idiots, like Jack Black, Martin Short, I think Danny DeVito to a certain extent, are kind of the only, or actually Michael J. Fox too. I think Michael J. Fox is funny in this.
For like 2 minutes, and then they just kill him.
Yeah, and all the characters I mentioned, they get rid of so quick. And it's like these are the guys who like get what's going. Like Jack Black has this stupid run when the aliens arrive. Like when the aliens start like going off, he like running to the gunner or whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, that's like me as like a fat kid running to the cafeteria line or something. It was the same kind of like how his arms were flailing and shit.
Uncrustables are in.
The Uncrustables are in. Oh my God, it's strawberry, not grape. They're trying to get to the plane. That's why they're doing that. But yeah, no, like there's what's it called? I think that there's some fun design elements in terms of like the aliens in this movie. They have an iconic look,
Danny Elfman's score is always great.
The score is fun. It's short, 106 minutes. It's a little over an hour. I think it doesn't drag for me as far as like it keeps going. It gets the escalation of the alien. Like when we're at the point where like the alien's just in the streets like fucking killing people. Like it gets serious, and like I like the escalation that we get, but the conclusion just like ends super quick. Oh yeah, and Natalie Portman's fucking wasted in this movie too. Like,
Natalie Portman did not need to be in this movie.
Yeah, like I have no idea. On Wikipedia it talks about her, and they call her Richie the kid who like.
Wait, what? They have one conversation at the end of the movie. She gives him a medal.
Yeah, she like kisses him on the cheek, and like that's it. But Wikipedia's like, yeah, love interest. Yeah, no, it's I'm gonna watch Independence Day while I'm cooking dinner. I just realized I'm thinking sorry, the tangent. I don't know if in our kitchen I have a little CRT TV, and I have it hooked up in the kitchen, and I have a little HDMI adapter thing in the back going to a Fire Stick so I can watch Netflix on the CRT. But there's also a VCR that works. I'm gonna put on my Independence Day tape while I make dinner.
Nice.
Because now I'm just literally just thinking about like, oh, I love Independence Day.
I want to eat and I want to watch Independence Day.
Yep. But what's it called? There's just like a lot of like waste. I think as far as like how you fix it, like you just reduce the cast.
You have to reduce the cast. You need to pick a hard line. Like the foundation's there to be like completely goofy or completely satirical. There's some movies that can make it work, but this one it needed to pick a lane, and I think it lost focus or didn't really have any focus to begin with, and I think that really hurt it.
Yeah, when we decided to like do this as the double feature with Mars Attacks, I'm like, oh, I bet like I'm gonna enjoy Mars Attacks and understand, and like there's gonna be like a bit of depth in it that like I'm gonna enjoy more like right now. There's going to be some smart political commentary. Not really. Like as far as political commentary goes, the only thing is like there's the general who's like being like we gotta fucking kill the aliens or whatever, and it's like they try to do this thing like a both sides are reacting to this stupidly, kind of like all politicians are useless kind of thing, like like is kind of what they're trying to do politically wise, but like even that they don't really develop enough for me to feel any way about it.
Yeah.
You know, or like to try to extrapolate it to like modern politics even. Like I was sitting there thinking like, well, I don't know, I guess like maybe like Trump would ignore it too. Like there's a part where like they kind of ignore the alien attack, and I'm like, I guess you could kind of say that's like maybe Trump was trying to avoid COVID. Like you could have obviously this was made before Trump, so like that wasn't in the, but as far as like I don't know, I couldn't bring myself to make any of those kind of comparisons because like they don't go deep enough in any way. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Is it worth watching? If it's on Tubi, if it's free on, I bet. Let's see.
If you are logged into your friend's Hulu, is it on anything? I had to rent it.
It's not anything. I have the I have the DVD, so I watched that from the what's it called from the FYE days. I just had already had it.
God, I miss FYE.
Yep. FYE, good time. There's still FYE is still around in some places. You know, when I was in Columbus, there was an FYE at the mall, and they started around when I moved. Like I went back a few times. They started building up, like having more physical media when I went back. Like, and they had like a lot of Shout Factory stuff. Shout and Scream Factory.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool. But anywho, it's not on anything. I mean, I guess. What I recommend, I don't know. If you're doing like a alien invasion marathon or something, like I don't know, like if you're doing like a Independence Day and then want like maybe a cool or I don't know. I wasn't high enough for this movie too. Maybe with more substances it would make the movie more fun. But yeah, as it stands, like, you know, it's go check out the trading cards. Look up the Mars Attacks trading cards and appreciate the art. Buy a Mars Attacks T-shirt, and then that's as far as it should go. But yeah, no, like overall, go watch Independence Day.
Yeah.
Instead, yeah, I don't know. Props. I think there could be some fun props from this one.
I'm gonna go with not any of the lasers specifically, but I'm going to go with the lasers that the kid used to defend or try to defend the president in the White House. That was probably the only scene that I was just like, oh yeah, this is fun. The kids are kind of jumping right in. But I'll give it to one of the blasters.
Yeah, that's a good one. Trying to think. The alien leader had a pretty sick ass purple robe.
That was a pretty sick ass purple robe.
It was CGI though, so like, does that count? No.
It's Mars Attacks. They don't care if anything counts or not.
Yeah, I'm trying to think as far as like maybe one of the alien, like the only prop I can even think of is like the Jim Brown gets one of the aliens' guns at the end or whatever. That's yeah, that's one. I guess yeah, that alien gun. I guess it's the only thing I can think of as far as like. I was gonna say like I don't want like a statue of the aliens because like I don't want that shit in my house.
I don't want to wake up and see.
I don't want one of those creepy fuckers around. Actually, wait, hold up. Let's see Mars Attack movie. I'm just gonna Google image the movie real quick and see like is there anything cool? Is there anything I would want? I'm also down for maybe a little model of like one of the spaceships, even though it's like a generic flying saucer. Like I like a flying saucer. Are you talking about this laser? No, wait, no,
there's like the scene where the kids are defending. There's like the little like pointer blaster ones.
Oh yeah, that one is a good one. Their guns look like fucking water guns. Maybe I don't want the gun. I want the alien woman's wig.
That's a good wig. Oh wow. Yeah, definitely not an alien there.
Yeah, totally human. Like, not at all. I want her wig. That's my final pick.
That's a good one.
Yep. But just like have it on like a maquette stand somewhere. Like, what's that from? And then that'd be that. But yeah, that's Mars Attacks. It's mediocre.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted more to talk about. I knew it was coming. It just the structure isn't really.
Yeah, go watch the Martian. I was expecting more too. But yeah, go watch The Martian.
Yeah, go watch The Martian. Go watch Independence Day.
And go watch Independence Day. And listen to our Independence Day episode. Yeah. But no, this is I think I'm gonna call it here. As far as like, it's getting late. I'm hungry. I've also needed to go to the bathroom for like half an hour. And then,
Yeah, sorry, I just couldn't hold it.
No, it's all good. I need to go number 2, so it's gonna be a process. If that's too much information, for you folks at home, I apologize.
Anyways, smash that like button and subscribe to hear more about Elsie taking shits on camera.
Yeah, taking shit. If you sign up for the Patreon live stream,
No,
that's on OnlyFans. I don't think you can do piss and shit on OnlyFans actually, but it's a separate thing. Go to midnightmoviegang.com, buy some VHS tapes. Mainly, the biggest one is like go to the YouTube channel, trying to make YouTube the main home, trying to do more video content, movie reaction type stuff, like trying to put that out there. So please check that out. And stay tuned for more. Thank you very much. Yeah. Bye.
Later.
So, here we go.
With childish frustrations and complexes which the police are searching for James Thomas, believed to be the lover of Miss Williams, and her partner in the horrible murder of Walter. Where's everybody that I'm here to hold on? Oh, please tell me where he's going. Please tell me. Sorry, I don't know. How hopeless could I got in here? Please get into Albany on 6 o'clock train tonight. What do you think?
Special agent, special agent.